Hi Gemini, here is a general look at your solar chart for October 2014. Now, if you've listened to my other video, the link to which should be around here somewhere, you'll know a little bit more about the eclipses coming up in October 2014. So that video is probably called The Eclipses of 2014. There's going to be two eclipses, and one is a lunar eclipse, the other is a solar eclipse. The first one happens on October the 8th, and it's going to be in Aries, and this for you is going to bring important new relationships, perhaps through group work, group dynamic, or indeed a collective of some kind, or through a collective of some kind, which could even be just, this is my kind of person, you know, birds of a feather flocking together, that kind of collective. Or indeed, it might be some kind of club, association, circle, group of people who've got interests in common, right? But it's got a really progressive feeling with it. It's really got this feeling of okay, we are moving forwards here, the wheels are rolling, and you may have embarked on that direction of travel earlier on in the year. It could have been at the time of the new moon at the back end of September, or it may even have been earlier than that, but the back end of September was when things went to another level, or there was some adjustment made there, there was some sort of mini little beginning there. So you can use this eclipse energy, which after all is just an energy of like pushing your foot down on the clutch and changing the gear. Or if you don't do stick shift, it will be like, okay, I think we'll take this different turning, go, you know, the more scenic route, the more... I always wanted to go that way, but to my destination, you know, I'm going from A to B, and I always go the same old boring way, but this time I'm just going to turn the wheel of the vehicle and take this interesting, well, it's interesting. You don't know it is going to be interesting, but it's going to be interesting from the point of view of I've never been that way before, or this group or these friends or whatever it is are not the sort of people that I would have seen myself, or indeed it might not be like that at all. It might be that once you do get with these certain others, things start panning out in a very, very interesting kind of a way, a bit like this turning on the road sort of thing. So if you can understand what I'm saying, this is the feeling of the eclipse. It's not a negative or a positive energy. It's just the energy of putting your foot on the clutch and opening up the gears so that you can decide which gear you want to go in. But of course, you've got to choose the appropriate gear for how fast you're going, right? Or indeed taking that turning off the sort of the main mundane drag, boring drag that you go on every day sort of thing, that you know very well. And that might not be literally a road. It might be a way of thinking, a way of, you know, a timetable, a schedule. It might be anything. But this is, you know, another of the eclipses that's been going on all year on the IU axis. So this will be for you in the area of relationships, but also on creativity as well. And if you have felt a lack in that area, then this eclipse should be helping you to make the improvements necessary there, so that you can be pulsing out a different type of signal because you've made the improvement, or the improvement's just kind of come about and you've just grabbed it. And then you start to radiate differently, and when you radiate differently, that will draw to you what or who you need on that new signal frequency. Okay, because it might not be a person or people, it might be something to do with a project, right? So this eclipse is strongly influenced by Uranus. Some of you may have guessed that or know that already, which is about change, revolution, awakening, sort of like, oh, duh, I didn't, yeah, of course, you know. So the fresher you feel, the more forward going you feel in this quite future orientated energy, then the clearer you will be about things, and the things going on to the next stage can be more positive, and then the more benefit you will feel from this eclipse. But of course, it's not just you who creates out of the energy of the eclipse, it's the universe that creates out of this what I would call vibrational weather, or this field. Okay, so the universe is creating and creating and creating and expanding all the time. And the universe could be manifesting something which just kind of, I don't know, it just lands. There's a little bit of magic with that one. It just lands, crosses your path, and then that creates the conditions which force maybe or encourage a new growth. But it's definitely positive. It's part of the grand fire trine, excuse me, as well, which has been happening since late September, early October, which is very inspiring and full of promise. And this kind of renews hope for the future. This is a launch pad configuration in the sky for new enterprises, new projects. It's healing, it's freeing. It's very much could be the rabbit out of the hat, and it's just what you need. So watch that space on or around October the 8th. Take a step in the right direction on or around, I would say, within the 24 hours of October the 8th. Just, you know, like set a precedent there. Just set a precedent for yourself, and then that energy will roll on for many, many, many months to come. You know, inspiration is afoot, change is afoot. Something quite surprising could be afoot as well. Because there is a tiny price to pay for some of you, depending on your natal chart, simply because Uranus is also tagged onto Pluto during this long transit going on since, well, 2012, 2011 even, and causing a lot of upheaval and conflict in the world. So you step that right down and minimize it to your own little life. Which isn't so little because it's big for you. And it's been causing a lot of tension, and so there's a letting go of a something there. Now that might be along the lines of, you know, I need to do some weeding, I need to do some pruning, that kind of letting go. I need to do some sorting out, I need to get organized and chuck out this and that, to make this space for this wonderful, inspiring energy of change and inspiration to come in here for something fresh and new to flourish. So there's that pinned on top of this eclipse energy, or maybe the eclipse energy is sort of thumbtacked into that as well, or what do we call it here? Drawing pins. Yes, drawing pinned into that. Pegged, we'll use that. That's universal. That is just in any language. So pegged together, those two are pegged together there. And as I say, it always depends on your natal chart, and to see the way the sort of the way it's going. You can tell more from looking into the natal chart, but actually you're just going to be there and living it, and it's not an energy that's got a very strong opinion one way or the other. You can use, it's just like a bundle of vibrational energy which you can use in whichever way you want. But as I say, the universe is creating out of it too. So yes, it is the planet of change and revolution, and of waking up, you know, very much enlightenment. Then the other eclipse, which is on the 23rd, and this one is also quite singular because it is conjunct Venus. And that sounds quite nice, you know. This eclipse axis here, which has been going on, is in Taurus Scorpio throughout 2014, and that for you would be in your area of well, higher service, but a lot going on behind the scenes. You putting yourself out more for others or on behalf of the others, to do with history, to do with the past. and it's also around property, possessions, and deeper connections. So you will have been sifting through stuff, weighing stuff up, and deciding what is most important to you, what is of highest priority to you regarding property, finances, possessions, that which you want to maintain, protect. And sometimes it's been quite adverse because this Saturn energy is heavy, yeah, and that's what it's like. And it needs you to be, you know, to use more of your strength to reach deeper into your character and to sort of tough it out sometimes, and just be sort of stoical, really, and persevering. And it does help you, though, to understand more what is meaningful to you or less meaningful to you and more worthwhile, and what needs to be very much, you know, protected and hung on to, and what needs to be let go and renewed, because there's a real energy of renewal as well with Scorpio, but renewal through slow, steady, plodding steps. And you can, this area here, you know, where the eclipse is going to be, means there can be positive change, anything regarding finances, ownership, guardianship, debts due or owed, moral obligations, but also your deeper connections, your moral contracts, your deeper contracts, but also on another level, just agreements and contracts that you have and with another, but also your emotional attachments. And that is what is going on with the eclipses in October. So what else is going on this month? Well, as the month kicks off, the sun is in actually quite a fun sort of area. It's doing the sorts of things that you quite like to do. It has an ability to empower you, and you feel good about that, or you are, you know, more emphasis is falling upon children, young people, romantic partners as well, and for others of you, there could be more access to leisure activities or the entertainment industry, participating in activities that you get a lot out of, right? So that is no bad thing. Until the 11th, Mercury, your ruling planet, is focusing your mind upon the more practical side of life, rolling up your sleeves, getting organized with things, and thinking about the mechanical details of daily life. It's definitely going to be a keynote. Repairs, that kind of thing, but also using your skills, learning new skills, and also maybe there could be more discussions or ideas flying around to do with diet and exercise or exercise routines, that kind of thing. But then from the 11th, Mercury goes retrograde, goes back into Libra, which is actually the same area as the sun's going to be in, so ditto with the sun, but more talking there, more communicating, more dashing around maybe, you know, because of children, young ones, or connected to them, or connected to leisure pursuits or the leisure industry, the entertainment industry, and the like. And also you could be a lot more romantically expressive at this time, and you could be beating the drum on something perhaps as well. But because it's in retrograde mode, then things just slow down. It's taking longer to achieve this, that, or the other. You're playing with ideas, and maybe you've got to go back over some bright, clever, creative idea you had and rework it, right? Until the 24th, Venus can mean that you're expressing yourself in a more spontaneous and creative kind of a way. Venus is in the same area as the sun, so for a while there we've got the sun and Mercury and Venus all crowded in together in what I call the house of fun. So yeah, let's party. And again, it's highlighting young people. It's highlighting young energy, young, spontaneous energy, but also your inner child, not just the children outside. There could be happier connections there with partners, or through romantic encounters, or pets as well, animals. And definitely, you know, this does support romance, and just feeling that you are empowered and important to another. Very much so, as in romance, you know, when you're getting admiring glances coming your way. But those admiring glances could be going from you towards somebody else. Social get-togethers are more likely, and enjoyable types of get-togethers more likely. But also speculative interests could be very much highlighted at this time here as well. Anything that you've invested in, anything that has that feel-good factor for you, but which has got a little bit more riding on it as well. Until the 26th, Mars is in your opposite sign, and means personal or professional exchanges are likely to be more dynamic and lively because of the opinion of another, or the agenda of another, or the schedule of another. It just puts more on your shoulders, and you're going to have to be more able to be decisive and take action. And you must be careful not to be too precipitate in that action in an important relationship, whether that's a working type relationship, or whether that is a romantic or sort of long-term love relationship, whether that's with family or with an opposite number or whatever. So the advice would be to try and keep things on an even keel. Don't dive in headfirst with, you know, saying things that really maybe you shouldn't, and just sort of holding back a little bit on the Mars energy. It's a little bit like a snorting sort of stallion pawing the ground, the Mars energy. So just keep those reins a bit tighter on that Mars energy in that area there. Mars does, though, mean that cooperative interests can be very, very lively and active and physically demanding, in professional alliances as well. But also, so you could be teaming up with somebody doing something very, very physically active together, but make sure that both horses are pulling the carriage in the same direction. Of course, again, don't let the Mars energy get you stressed or overtire you, because it can, coming at you through that partnership area, that one-to-one area, that important relationship area. But another's willingness to take action with you will be very invaluable to you, and help you to be more effective, but also you to help them to be more effective and functional than if they or you were going it alone. So just a little bit of diplomacy, a little dash of diplomacy every now and again goes a very long way with Mars there. And then Mars finally, in the very last week of the month, moves out of there and goes into the sector of your solar chart, which clears the deck for new beginnings. But in so doing, you know, you begin to prioritize differently, and you begin to put something aside or ditch something. Whether you're just putting it aside temporarily or ditching it altogether is up to you to know, in order for the new green shoots to come up in a new way in a different area. Saturn is transiting the same service-orientated area of your solar chart until the end of the year, and Saturn is in the area of the solar eclipse, so there will be some new beginning coming in there. With that one, with what you've had to be diligent about, you've had to use your skills on, you've had to be hard working with, whether that is the job, a project, an enterprise, health, somebody else's health, somebody else's diet and exercise, as well as your own, and it could also be a time that you come onto a new stretch of road with all of that, and you also with co-workers as well. So you're coming into a new, shall we say, dynamic maybe there, because of the eclipse. And this eclipse, if you do something in the 24-hour period of the eclipse, that's the solar one, which by the way you can see over North America, so look that up. You'll be able to see that one. We won't be able to see it here, but you will. Then you will be able to apply the energy of the eclipse to make positive change into this quite heavy area here, where it's been quite demanding on you for quite a while. This transit is slowly coming to an end, where you have felt maybe a lack in the area of getting the work done in the way you wanted, or for it to deliver, you know, from all the hard work to deliver then in the way that you wanted, or with co-workers, you know, service providers, again, little officials, I should say, like petty officials, although petty isn't quite the right word, but officialdom, shall we say, or anything, you know, in that kind of bureaucratic sort of sense there. And even the equipment, like vehicles or computers or phones, or, you know, engines, generators, I don't know, whatever. All of that's needed seeing to. You know, the little cogs in the bigger wheels have needed seeing to. So it's been quite sort of knotty little problems at times. But this eclipse can help with that. And then, of course, this is a time for you to sort of pull together a lot that's been done, because this eclipse is almost like a huge full stop. As this transit is slowly coming to an end, as it will do in December 2014, that's to say Christmas Eve, and then it moves on into your opposite side. It will return for just a little peek round the door jamb for a short time in 2015, but that is going to be, for many of you, when you begin to feel as though you're coming out of that period and moving into the next sort of area of Saturn transit. And then, of course, Jupiter is in his favorite house now until next August, so he's in a very strong position in your solar chart, Gemini, supporting a very much more outgoing, upbeat, positive frame of mind. And you could be developing yourself through education, through media, through getting the message across, through putting something out there, through teaching, writing, speaking, or any other form of creative self-expression, moving around more, making really interesting contacts, and then through those contacts, you and they together, maybe, or just through them, your new pathways being drawn onto your mental landscape, which is very much grist to your mill. You enjoy all that kind of stuff, Gemini. And you Geminians born in the second 10 days, or with 15 to 21 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most this month. Actually, it's the beginning of the third 10 days as well. And then during the long transit of Neptune through your career area, I always mention this, it's a kind of a slippery, slithery, oily sort of energy there, where you can't quite get a hold of it. You think you know what you're doing professionally or with career, and then it slips away from you again. And really, you do best with this one. You get more grip. You get, you know, more purchase. If you're a facilitator for others, an enabler, you're serving. You look at what you're doing as a service, not as, you know, I'm going to, you know, become a millionaire, but a service. Now, you could become a millionaire, but you need to have this humble affirmation inside of you that what I do is a bit of a mission here. I'm doing it for the reasons of higher service, and it particularly suits anything in the field of arts or philanthropy or charity, or you know, just very much helping professions like healing and spirituality. And but having said that, it fits everything, because it's the inner intention which has to motor through. It's got a channel through there out into the world, with this very, very sort of slippy, slidey, misty, smoke and mirrors, cloak and dagger energy, which, you know, it doesn't just sit down and stay in the same place and then you just got to soldier on in a plodding way like with Saturn. It's very different. It's not that physical or earthy at all. It's quite ethereal. So you Geminians born in the first 10 days, or with 4 to 6 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most this month. Yes, no, Neptune hasn't moved very much for quite a while now. And that's it for October. And if you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And they'll sort of put in different slant on what I've said here. But just take what you need and chuck away the rest. And also listen to the other video about the eclipses over 2014, and I will see you the next time.